Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the What's Up with Yoga podcast. I'm your host, Kim Struglinski. I'm the founder and owner of Heart of Wisdom Yoga, which is a not heated yoga studio in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm so excited for today's episode. My friend Ashley McDougall is joining me. She is the owner of Yoga Loft in Tucson. We actually met through social media, which you'll hear us talk about. And she also is a chronically ill human. She has been living with a chronic illness all her life. And we talked about so much. We talked about what it's like practicing yoga and owning a yoga studio as a chronically ill person. We talked about lots of things that have to do with owning a yoga studio. And we talked about going viral at the very end. So I hope you stay for the end of our conversation. I am so excited to welcome Ashley to the podcast, and I hope you enjoy this one. Thank you so much for chatting with me. This is so fun. I am so excited because I found you on TikTok. And then also realized you had Instagram, as many people do. And then also, I feel like I kind of catfished you into actually being my friend from from ClassPass to
Oh
here.
my
Yes. Okay, I forgot that that's how we kind of connected. Okay, so are you in your ClassPass transition now? What's going on?
Yeah, so we've canceled ClassPass. We're still showing on their app, I guess, because they said that you need 90 days. But our classes are off. We are off. We've told everybody that we will never go back to ClassPass. And you were right. People who were on ClassPass just signed up for our class packs instead.
Yeah.
And they just continue to practice with us. So I was like, oh, that was such a non-issue of getting off that.
Yeah. And the people who really only want to do ClassPass, they're not your people, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad it was a
No.
non-issue. Look at you.
It's so nice, looking at, I don't know, stuff like that. It's always really scary to change your pricing or to make a big change in your yoga studio. But I'm glad we did it. And it's just one less thing that I don't have to constantly micromanage and make sure that they're paying us the right rate. And then when I find out that they're not paying us the right rate, text my business partner of I have bad news. We need to have a meeting. Because no business owner wants to get that text message.
No, no, yeah, and it's hard because I like the accessibility of it, and if you as a client can use it, great. I also think we need to not expect every single business to be on it. It's okay for people to not be on ClassPass.
Agreed.
Yeah. Well, I'm so
Yeah.
glad that that has gone smoothly.
Yeah. Thank you.
Have you had a business partner from the start? Has it always been you and her?
No. So how I took over ownership or how I opened my studio was a little bit weird. I was teaching at a studio during COVID. It was the only studio that I felt comfortable teaching in. At the time, it was called Let's Sweat. Love them. The studio had a garage door that they could open up. So
Wow.
they're we would love to have you on the team. So I taught there. And then the owner of Let's Sweat was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And there was one other teacher on the team with me who was teaching yoga. So she approached him and was like, can you please take it over? He agreed. Then he took it over for 3 months. He realized he didn't want to do it either. Then he approached me and asked me to take it over. And I did a full rebrand. I was like, I'm not going to continue this brand that had 3 changes within 4 months type situation. So I took it over from him. And then I ran the business by myself for 6 months, but I'm chronically ill. And I didn't have a large budget, so I couldn't hire a manager, and it was awful. I have never burnt myself out the way that I did in those 6 months. And my now business partner, she was trying to open her own studio, and I shouldn't be happy that her plans fell apart, but I am. They fell apart. And immediately when she told me, I was like, do you want to be my business partner? Please come on. And ever since then, it has been so much better. I will never do a business by myself again. And my business partner now has truly, I'm an only child, but she's truly become my sister, in a very good, healthy way. So thank God for Jackie.
Love that. I'm an only child
Yeah.
too, so I relate. And I feel like I see you in almost an aspirational. Relate to so much of what you just said, and I see you in an aspirational way because I have been doing this. I opened on January 1st of 2020, and we have going ever since, and just kind of rebranding, pivoting, changing, moving. And I've been doing it myself until literally 2 months ago, and I have a ops manager now, which has been life-changing. And I'm also like, "Okay, I need to step back more." So,
Yeah.
that different part of the conversation, but it's really cool to hear from you like, "Oh, I will never do this that way again." And I love that.
I have always been the type of person that I don't ask people for help.
No,
I
of
don't know.
course.
I feel like it's an only child thing, and it also, like, might be, like, a chronic illness thing, where, like, I feel like I have something to prove, so I don't ask for help, and then I have realized, over opening a studio that that's actually not helpful at all, and people want to help. So, yeah, it's really nice to be able to speak it into existence and just be like, "I need help." There's always people who are like, "I would love to help you."
Yeah, it's wild. People want to support you. Like, what a shocker. What a
Like,
shock.
people are, like, waiting for you to ask for help. I never knew. So, what a crazy concept.
Who knew? And I say that and also, like, I've dealt with migraines for a long, long time, and so a different kind of chronic illness, and it's not like I don't have supportive parents. Like, my mom is amazing, and, like, my dad traveled a lot for work, so, like, he wasn't around as much, but, like, my parents are amazing. It's not like wasn't supported. It's just that I was like, "Well, I can do this by myself." It's like,
Hey, like, my
"But you don't
my
have to."
parents are great. Yeah,
Yeah.
my parents are great. They have were always in the hospital with me, like, always there, but there's just, like, this societal pressure that you have to be, like, capable of doing things alone, and letting that go of, like, I it's okay that I need help is really refreshing. It's really
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah, it is. So, I would love to hear whatever you wanna share about your journey with chronic illness, because I know it's been a journey, and you mentioned being in the hospital, and also, oh my gosh, I wanna talk about, like, teaching with chronic illness during COVID. I mean, unless
Oh, it's a
that's maybe a
nightmare.
lot. Maybe we don't wanna talk about that, but so so
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about, like, what has been going on with you, and also then how yoga has come into it too.
Yeah. So, to start, like, I have cystic fibrosis. So, cystic fibrosis is a genetic disease that causes my cells not to process sodium correctly. So, because of that, the mucus inside my body is thicker than normal people, which is really gross. But it makes it so I catch bacterial lung infections way easier than the average individual. So, I started practicing yoga, and honestly, I was dealing with some pretty heavy addiction at that point. Started partying when I was really young, like 14. I didn't know how to process that my life expectancy was 18. So instead of sitting with that, I just took drugs. I just got high all the time. I was like, this is more fun than dealing with the pain of a limited lifespan. Then I found my way into a yoga class one day. I had just, I had heard about it. I thought it looked cool. And then I took the class, and I first started with Bikram. I went in there. It was really ableist. I had people tell me that I couldn't drink water, that I couldn't leave the room, that I couldn't take rest. So clearly that wasn't for me. And I took a break. Then I found yoga again, like, a couple years later, and I just remember walking into that room and seeing this group of people who looked embodied and comfortable and friendly, and then my teacher played a harmonium, and we sang to the Lord of the remover of obstacles, and I was like, "Hook, line, and sinker, what is this?" And from there, I basically have devoted the past 15 years to exploring that. It has not been easy. I, have spent months in the hospitals. I've had permanent IVs in my chest for 6 months at a time. I did my first 200-hour yoga teacher training, I think like 2 weeks after surgery of getting an implant in my chest for a permanent IV because I was so chronically sick that it's really been an interesting ride. Yoga has never made me better per se. It's never, like, increased my lung capacity. It's never fixed anything of my disease. However, it has helped me be comfortable sitting with a limited lifespan, and I am no longer addicted to drugs. So, I it has been very helpful, but yeah, it's been
Wow.
a long
Yeah. When were you diagnosed? Like, pretty
6 months.
immediately? 6 months,
Yeah,
yeah.
6
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, that's just so much, and I'm so grateful that you, that you're sharing your story. Like, I'm so honored to get to hear your story from you. And I also feel like, to your point about the ableist piece, like a lot of times people who are chronically ill, doctors will say to us, like, oh, go to yoga, like it'll help. And you're like, okay, well, if I go to a Bikram class, that no, when they tell me
Exactly.
not.
Or if you go to a class and someone's burning incense or sage or Palo Santo, boom, that's not healing either. It has been it is very interesting being a chronically ill individual in a industry that is inherently ableist because you need to be able to move your body to practice yoga, especially if you are teaching yoga. Teaching yoga is physically demanding. Um, so yeah, dedicating my life to teaching people how to breathe when my lungs don't work very well is an interesting career path.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wild. And I feel like some of the, like, all of I have my yoga bookshelf to my left, and there's all these things that are like in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, they'll be like, you can fix everything with yoga. It's like, well, no, you can't. Number one, yoga can help you sit with things, but it's not going to fix everything. It's not going to heal you. And like for me, I've known with migraines, I've tried diet, I've tried lifestyle modification. I've tried so many different meds. There's been a lot of things. I've gone to clinics where they're like, well, you're not actually sick enough for us to treat you here. Like, you don't have enough migraine days. You're only 15 migraine days a month. So we can't treat you because you're not 30 migraine days. Like, wild things. And I can't meditate away a migraine. I get panic attacks too. I can't breathe my way through a panic attack. But yoga has given me tools to handle all of that stuff. And I'm also just so mindful of, like, yeah, sometimes what someone needs when they come to class is literally just to lay down and be in a room with people. And your point about like incense, for example, like at my studio, we have a rule, we don't burn anything in the
Love
studio.
it.
Yeah, because it can trigger a migraine for me, for example. I mean, there's so many pieces. Even with essential oils, I ask people to be really mindful and like ask for consent before we do essential oils even, because even putting essential oils in a diffuser is too much for some people.
And some people could be allergic to lavender. Like there's so much.
Yeah. I ask people too. I mean, people have rubber allergies, and so we have different mats based on whether you have rubber allergies or not. We provide
I
mats
love
for.
that.
Yeah. We provide mats for every class, and unfortunately, a lot of the really nice yoga mats do have latex or rubber in them. So, honestly, the cheaper ones are the ones that are rubber free. Go figure. But
Hmm.
there's just, like,
I mean,
so
it's
many.
accessibility, so it's nice to have.
Exactly, exactly. So, there's just, like, so many little things, and I had, recently in a recent round of teacher training, I had someone who had Crohn's disease, and so just there's so many different things that people might be living with that we as yoga teachers don't know. And also, we're living with things too. Like, how do we take care of ourselves when we're literally, like you said, telling people to breathe when your lungs don't work as well as they should? Like, I got a lemon here, so what am I gonna do?
Yeah. I mean, that's like really what I teach people is like be okay being uncomfortable and knowing when to say no and walk away is the most powerful thing that you will ever do. It is not, here's a rigid set of rules, do all of these rules, and you are going to be better because that's just not how it works.
Yeah, yeah. Oh gosh, because then also the shame of like, I'm following all the rules, I should be better. That I had a breakdown in my neurologist's office once because I was like, I'm doing everything right. And like, why does my head still hurt? And she finally was like, because your brain is wired that way. You could do everything right for your entire life and you're still going to do this.
I I have experienced something similar in like the 2010s. Like I was really into the yoga world with like the raw vegan diet and like if you meditate for 10 minutes every morning before sunrise and then you practice on an empty stomach without water and you only eat raw vegan foods like you will be healthier and I wasn't and I did it for so long that I just realized that I was actually miserable and it had turned it to an eating disorder and I was like so afraid of all food that was not anti-inflammatory and I was so thin that, like, I look at photos, and I'm like, "I was actually a skeleton." Sure, it was cool that I put my head behind my leg, I guess, but it didn't bring me peace. So yeah, I don't teach that way anymore. I'm like, I literally don't care what people do. If somebody skips Shavasana, that's not my business. I will help them, try to encourage them to find other ways to find stillness. I don't tell people how much water they can drink. I don't care what they wear. I don't care what size body they live in. I'm going to teach yoga to them to be as accessible as possible, and maybe they find as much love in the yoga practice that I found, that they devote their life to it, and then their life gets better. People don't need to change, they need to remember that they are whole no matter what they experience.
Yeah. Yeah. That we are whole just how we are, and everyone's having a slightly different experience, and
Mhm.
you're not doing anything wrong. I think that's been a big thing for me is this, like, if I do things perfectly, I'll feel better. Like, no, accepting that of like, this is just how I am. And also, we wouldn't like when I broke my foot, you're not going to say to someone like, well, you should have just been better and you wouldn't have broken your foot. Like, no,
Exactly.
we wouldn't
Yeah.
say, although I use the diabetes example sometimes, and that's not a good one right now because we wouldn't just say to someone like, you can eat better and not have diabetes. Like, there are people who are saying that these days, which is annoying. But
There
like
definitely
that's
are.
yeah. And also same thing with, like, sickle cell. I have a friend who has sickle cell anemia, and it's like, that person can't breathe their way into their blood cells being shaped differently.
Exactly. I have had people tell me that I just need to do more pranayama. And I'm like, "Well, so I actually literally have holes in my lungs, like, actually, there are holes. Breathing deeper isn't going to make or heal my lungs. Once your lungs are as damaged as mine, they can stay as they are and heal a little bit, but, like, it's not gonna fix itself. And also, I don't like pranayama. I'm not gonna sit still and intentionally breathe deep for 20 minutes. I did it for my first, like, 500, actually, my first 1,000 hours of teacher training. Every time they had a breathwork class, I would do it, and then I would have a PTSD flashback and start sobbing. So now I just tap out. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. That's not healing to me any bit. So I'm not going to
Yeah,
do it. And I don't
yeah,
teach pranayama other than like Ujjayi pranayam in class. And no one has been like, hey, I want you to teach me Nadi Shodhana. I'm like, find another teacher. I'll be happy to recommend one to you.
yeah, that's the thing, like, I'm sure you know and have teachers at your studio that teach things that you don't, and you teach things they like, no one I think that's the other thing too is, as students, as teachers, if you think a teacher should be all everything to you, if you think you only need one teacher, like, you're doing it wrong.
Definitely. Like, and also as somebody who was in marketing, I was like, you need to specialize in something. You can't specialize everything in the yoga practice. That's literally impossible. Spend 10,000 hours getting good at getting really good at one thing. And that is your key to a successful career. It is not, let's try to be everything to everybody.
Yeah, yeah, fascinating. What has been most supportive for you with your own yoga practice for sort of caring for yourself? Like, how do you take care of yourself these days?
I like a physical yoga practice. I like to work into my end ranges. I also deal with pretty excruciating joint pain from inflammation. So the stronger I can get my joints, the less joint pain I have. So yeah, my class or my home practice and my public classes are physically demanding. They are. I like playing with arm balances. I like doing things that are influenced by Pilates and bar because it helps me decrease my pain.
Yeah. Sometimes it makes me mad that, like, getting stronger really does help because it's hard
Yeah,
work.
right? Right? Like, I also, like, am to the age that, like, now I really need to start, like, working out and lifting weights because, like, I can't get that load in a yoga class, which is, like, such a bummer. But I signed up for, boxing and kickboxing, so now I just get hit in the head all the time, and that also helps my joint pain somehow, which is so weird to say, that getting hit helps my pain. But, yep.
Wow. Well, yeah. I on Friday mornings, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I go work out with my friend and, we do like back squats and we did farmer's carries today and single leg, like split stance lunges and, she's making us do pull-ups. And I'm like, I hate that this stuff works.
I know,
I
I
love
know.
it too.
Every time my coach is like, "We're gonna do squats," I'm like, "I don't want to. I don't want to." And then, like, my joint pain is less. I'm like, "Damn it.
Why? Why?
Why can't we just do asana only for the rest of our lives?" Like,
I
who
know.
cares about perimenopause and menopause and, like, osteoporosis?
I know. I know.
Just ignore
Oh
it.
my gosh. Those are like also on my mind right now. When I broke my foot in November, my mom and my aunt both were like, "Hey, so this is the second time you've broken this foot in 10 years. Like maybe we need to talk about bone density." And I'm like, "I agree. However, I don't think of myself as like a not healthy person, which is interesting because I'm not healthy. I have issues."
How
Like,
what is healthy at this point? Everyone's got something going on. Our food
true.
is trash in America. Our soil is depleted, and yeah,
Oh
yeah.
gosh. Well, okay. I could spiral. I could spiral and talk about all those things, but I'm also curious. I get the sense that you've figured out how to cue in a more accessible way on your own from your own experience, which is a little bit how I have done it. I'm also curious if there have been resources that have been helpful for you.
Honestly think the way that I have learned to cue is by studying anatomy. I studied my 2, biggest or I guess my 3 biggest resources for learning anatomy, are Jason Crandall, Harvey Deutsch, who is a physical therapist, I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce his last name correctly, and Jules Mitchell, who wrote a book on biomechanics for yoga. It wasn't until I started researching biomechanics and angles of the joints and the loads that I realized that cueing really shouldn't be on aesthetics. It should be on decreasing or increasing the load in the individual in front of me. And that's when everything clicked for me of like, oh, I'm hypermobile. Just because I can do this doesn't mean that that same amount of load is accessible for another person. So that's kind of how that came about. And also being in a body that physically hurts every day, has made it really easy for me to be able to see my pain reflected in other people and how to cue them out.
What do you mean? Say more about seeing your pain in other people.
Oh, it's a whole thing. I think I'm in pain every day of my life. So if I see somebody and like I can see that they are collapsing into their front hip joint in a lunge pose and I can see that represented in what it looks like in my body, but I can also see like the little tells of pain in somebody's eyes or their nose or the clench of their jaw or the depth of their breath. When I watch my students, I am truly watching like a hawk to make sure that they're able to be comfortable in a pose without the need to clench and hold and to push. I'm looking for ideally a level breath, a soft jaw, space in between the eyebrows, kind of chill. If it's not, I'm going to encourage them. I'm not going to tell anybody what to do, but I'm going to encourage them to ease off by giving them options. And yeah, that's kind of how I go about it. Just having
I
a
love
conversation like, let's maybe not do that.
Yeah. And I have a very similar process and totally relate to that. And I love how you articulated it. And part of it is like I also feel like people think that it should be hard. It should be effortful. I should be like, like punching and doing. And it's like, no, actually, the whole point of this is to find a steady, comfortable posture,
Exactly.
is to be able to like one of the things that some of my teachers in the Katona world especially talk about is that like the point is to create conditions for your breath to move more freely. Quite literally looking for people's cheeks to get a little pinker or like take a deep breath all of a sudden. It's like the point is not to do a shape to do the shape. It's what does the shape do to you as a human and as a body and um
Exactly. Like, we're not boxing. We don't want you in zone 5. I want you, like, zone 1, zone 2, and if you're going too far, I'm gonna encourage you to come out. And at the same time, I use my yoga practice to build strength. So, like, I give people the opportunity to listen to their breath and ease off. And I will also give them an opportunity to take it a step further because I can't tell if you are at your edge. The only one who knows where they are in their body is my students. So I give options. And when I teach nearly every class, I will look around and the entire room is from like what, 25 to 70. Everybody is in different variation, is like it looks chaotic, and
Yeah.
I'm sure being a new student or a new teacher when they sub my class, they're like, "Wow, that was really hard." I'm like, "Yeah, I try to get my classes as close to an all levels class as possible, even though, like, all levels in a yoga class, it doesn't actually exist, but, I try. I do my best."
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on the all levels piece. And also I struggle with it sometimes because I think sometimes we've had people come who have um conditions that like I feel so bad saying it, but like there are some people that should not be in an all levels yoga class. And I'm okay saying that because they have things that need more one-on-one attention. And
Agreed.
I safely teach you in a room full of people. And it doesn't mean you can't do it or couldn't do it one day. It's just not fair to you and everyone else. No one's get what they need out of it. And I think sometimes as newer teachers, we're like, I have to make everyone happy. And it's like, no, actually, like, that's not the case.
Yeah, I don't think every class needs to be accessible to everybody. Ooh, that's a hot take, but I think that every studio should be accessible to everybody. And as a teacher, you should be comfortable having honest and candid conversations with your students and be like, hey, I don't think that you will enjoy this class yet, but I would love to recommend you to a teacher I think you would enjoy more or work with you one on one to help
Yeah,
you get the mobility so you can feel included in this class.
exactly.
Like, I teach an all levels class, but if someone came in and they were in a wheelchair, how would I, modify the practice to include them? How would I I've had people come into my class and they can't do any knee down stuff. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
whoa,
Yeah.
this is hard. But yeah, I think as a yoga studio owner, that's what I love of being like, you know what? Not every class on my schedule is gonna resonate with everybody, but there is damn sure a class on the schedule that every single person knows and feels included in.
Yes, 100%. And I don't think it's fair to teachers, even the most experienced teacher, because I have a similar situation where people coming in with like, "Well, I can't put weight on this leg," and it's like, "Well, then you shouldn't do this type of class." Just and that's okay. One day, yes, we can get you there. Also, you might need a private session, and that's okay. Like that's honestly a great thing. And there are other options for you too. And like may not look like what you thought, but we can give you options. And I just don't think it's fair to teachers. It's hard work teaching a whole group of people, period.
Yeah.
And it's just like not fair to teachers to be like, "Well, I have all of these special things going on. Can you teach for me and also the other 9 people in the room who also all have their own special" like everybody's going through something and how can we set people up for success? I think a lot about setting people up for success. I was trained in the Baptiste power world originally and I don't teach that way anymore. But one of the topics that I love from the Baptiste world is the idea of leaving people in their power and leaving people with a win, letting people feel like they succeeded at something. And like that is always my goal with classes is how can I let people feel like they won at something? Because that's all we want, you know?
Exactly. And like when someone comes into class and like I can tell that they chose the wrong class, I'll never say like, I don't think that this is the right class for you. And I'm going to do, yeah, like I will do as best as I can. But if I am teaching a full class that has 24 people, that's our studio capacity, say there's 23 people and they are all expecting something from me because they have been continuously coming and that's what they paid for. And then I have that one person who comes in that can't do it. I can't scrap my entire plan just for that person. And also, like, in my opinion, that doesn't feel good as a chronically ill individual when somebody singles me out and changes everything for me. I'm like, I actually wanted the challenge, so like let's not do that. But yeah, I don't it's teaching yoga's hard. I don't think people get enough credit. Um
Teaching yoga is hard, owning a business is hard, holding
yeah.
space for a group of people is hard, and I've really been leaning lately into the idea of, like, I think of it as hospitality.
Yeah.
It's very much about I'm hosting a party, you're welcome to the party, you can choose what you do. One of our values as a studio is agency, like, you can choose what you do. When you go to a party, you can decide to sit on the couch. You can be the one over there with the dogs, which is me. Or you can be in the middle of the dance floor, or you can, like, you get to choose how you participate. You can be by the snacks, holding down the hot Cheeto bucket, which is also me. But having options doesn't mean like, oh, I planned a dance party and your foot hurts, and so I'm going to cancel the dance party. It's like, no, how do I give you options and agency to choose what works for you? Yeah, I think people like expect when they book their class sometimes, like, well, this is going to be exactly what I want. It's like, well, no, like when you go to a concert, I think of this a lot in Nashville too. When you go to a concert, like if the singer doesn't perform your favorite song, some people walk out and they're mad, but other people are like, well, guess they didn't want to perform that tonight. Like,
Was on the
okay,
set list. That's
yeah,
it. Like, yeah. Yeah, I will have sometimes like so my classes always have mantra, always. Always own. There's always some mobility that's, like, not asana that people tend to be, like, surprised about. They're like, "How is this so traditional, but at the same time so modern?" And I'm like,
yeah,
"Welcome. Like, you either like it or you don't, and if you don't like it, that's not my problem." Again, I will be happy and lovingly point you into the direction of another teacher, but this is my heartfelt offering, and I'm gonna do the best that I can, and I'm not gonna lose sleep over if someone didn't resonate with my class.
yeah,
If someone
yeah,
told me my class was inaccessible and they didn't feel welcomed, I would lose sleep over that. But
yeah,
otherwise, I'm like, "Mm,
yeah, same. And also, okay, let me help you find a class that you're gonna like better. And same thing here. If you come to us, sometimes people will be like, "Do you guys have hot yoga?" And I'm like, "No, we sure don't."
same, same."
There's
We get the
20
call all
other
the time. I'm like,
studios.
"Did you look at our website? Like, it says
Yeah,
non-heated all over the thing." Like,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. And I've had teachers too be like, "Well, can I just like ramp up the heat a little?" I'm like, "No, simply
No,
cannot."
no,
Um, that's just not. But also we have so many studios here, and I can tell you where to go, which studio based on, what are you looking for in that. I still want you to find your yoga studio home. It just doesn't have to be with me, and that's okay. Um,
exactly.
yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah. There are so many yoga practices that I don't care where you go. I'm just happy that you find
Yeah, and if you find a practice that works for you, great. I hope that you find something that impacts you as positively as it has impacted me, you know, in your own version. We also have talked a little bit about I'm actually going to come off the schedule for a while because I have mental health things going on and I have other stuff going on behind the scenes and I just need to not be teaching public classes right now. But I also have 25 teachers who work for me who are incredible and I want people to take classes with them. And I know that you don't teach a ton. I think sometimes people think studio ownership is teaching 9 million classes. It's actually like yoga is 1% of
I
what.
am the marketing girl. I do all of our marketing. I do the majority of the back end tech stuff. Like I teach 2 classes a week and I am not sorry about that. Sometimes I wish I taught 1. But people are like, "Please, I love your class." I'm like, "Okay." But there's also been times where there was a couple years ago, I was so sick, but I was on IV antibiotics for 6 months. I didn't teach. I was like, I'm not gonna do that. No. I did it like the very end and like I taught I think like 3 or 4 classes like with an IV still hooked up to my chest. But other than that, I was like, I don't need to be here. I have a team. I have a business partner. My mental health is more important than teaching classes. And if people are upset about that, they're not my target market. They're not my people. I actually don't care. Because if we are owners and we're not taking care of ourselves first, the business is going to suffer.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, and it's hard to like sometimes it's like, well, I have to be in it too. And it's hard for me because I mean, similar to you, like people like my classes and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's great. But number one, I don't feel like I'm delivering what I want to service wise. Number two, I keep thinking about I had a friend when I used to work at Vanderbilt in higher education. I have a master's in higher ed, and I used to work at Vanderbilt, and my friend that I worked with there said to me once, like, this doesn't seem like your best and highest use in reference to a task that I was doing at work. And I love that concept of like, what is my best and highest use? Mine is not teaching a 1 hour class once a week, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. And maybe it'll come back at some point, but like right now I'm getting ready to really relaunch our yoga school and everything, and I'm going to be teaching that, but that's where I really shine, and that's okay. You
I
know?
think from the outside, like, I am very proud of you for doing that. That's hard to be like, "You know what? Like, the expectation is for me to teach this, but that's not where my heart is. So I'm gonna do that." That's hard.
It's terrifying. It's been a wild
Yeah,
week. It's been a wild
yeah,
week.
just know that I see you and I'm proud of you.
I appreciate you saying
Yeah.
that. I did not come to this to tell you all of my deep, dark secrets, but it's just like,
No, I mean, like, I think as business owners, like, having these honest conversations is really important. I think that yoga teachers look up to yoga studio owners and they think that we are paid really well. We have it together. We know what we're doing. And the secret is we don't. A lot of us aren't paid that well. The majority of us weren't taught the business of yoga studio ownership, like what the heck a KPI is or how to set the correct pricing or what
yeah.
to look for. So it's like trial and error.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's not the grass isn't always greener on the other side.
Yeah. It's so funny too, when I first opened the studio, I like there's some teachers in town that teach all over the place and teach like 25 classes a week, and I even went through a phase where I was teaching before I opened the studio, I was teaching like 18 to 20 classes a week at 6 different locations. Once I opened the studio, I was like, why would people want to just teach at different places, and like why doesn't every yoga teacher want to open their own studio? And I'm like, oh, because it's really hard work.
Right? It's like I don't know, teaching 20 classes a week is a lot, but opening
Yeah.
your own studio is full-time, more than full-time some
Yeah.
weeks. Like,
Yeah.
you're waking in the morning answering emails, you're going to
Yeah.
sleep thinking about, like, an idea, you
I had a dream
eh
about emails last night.
yeah, there's so much, like, with my business partner and I, like, we're always joking, we're like, "Are we supposed to know, like, what we're doing?"
Yeah.
Um, anyone I've ever talked to is also like, I don't know exactly, like,
Yeah.
I'm doing the best I can, I'm trying." I'm like, "Okay, cool. No one knows what we're doing. Perfect."
We're making it up as we go. And also, like, we're doing a damn good job at it. Like, you're doing a great job. I love watching you from afar, and like with the marketing piece, like I love seeing how you do it. And like, oh yeah, okay. I can take inspiration from Ashley there. Like
I
that's
do the
so
same. I'll see your post and, like, your studio's post, I'm like, "Oh, that was good. That was good."
I know. I do the same. I'm like, oh yeah. And I'm like, is it annoying if I message her every time she does a post and it's like, that was so good? Because it's
I
fun.
the same. I've sent, like, a couple years to, like, my business partner, I'm like, "Look at this one, this is such a good idea." Like, it's so fun finding yoga studio owners that you resonate with, especially, like, now, like, I feel like franchise in corporate yoga is way more popular than, like, the boutique studio, so, like, when I find another studio owner, I'm like, "Hi, do you wanna be friends? Like, this is really hard."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also just love cheering people on. Like I do. Yeah, I feel like we can all succeed, and like yes, we can take inspiration. Like when you see if I post something and you're like, "Oh my god, I love that." I want you to do it, and I want to be like, "Look what Ashley did. She just did this thing better than I did." Like
I'm the
that's
same. Like, if you have an idea, if you see an idea of mine and, like, you have your own take on it, do it. I wanna see it. If a yoga teacher sees something of mine and they're like, "I could do that better," do it.
yeah,
Teach me. Like,
teach
I
me.
want to support other yoga teachers. Like, that's what social media is so cool. Yeah, I've met so many we've all met so many cool people through the internet and
Yeah.
created real life connections. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's so cool to see. I get kind of like bummed out about social media sometimes, and it's so funny. The last person I interviewed for the podcast was my friend Taryn, who went viral because she rowed a boat across the Atlantic solo. Um,
Sure.
and yeah, she's a badass. And I remember when I met her a few years ago in a yoga training, she told us she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna row across the Atlantic," and we were like, "Huh?" We were like, "Have you ever rowed a boat before?" She's like, "Nope." Um, She and I remember she had 2,000 Instagram followers, she knew every single one, and we were talking before the podcast about she's like, "Yeah, like, I figured I would, like, keep people posted with my journey via Instagram and then, like, come home and delete my Instagram," and she has something like 620,000 followers now. She, like,
Slay.
completely blew up, and she's like, it's open doors that's really interesting, and also I get to keep up with, people like you, and I get to meet people like you, and, like, it's really cool, and so, yeah, it's all just it's interesting, it's hard.
Yeah.
I also am curious, before you owned the studio, what did you do before that? What was your life pre-yoga studio?
I did tech for a really long time. Mm, I'm like, I didn't go to school for tech. I'm just like a millennial. I'm just really
What did you
techy. I
study
just
in school?
What did I do in school? Honestly, school was really hard for me. I was really sick, and I don't feel like ADA in school is very helpful.
Yeah.
So I was like 1 credit away from literally 7 associates, and I was just over it. I was done. So then I started working in tech. So I worked at Apple, AT&T, and Intuit for many years, doing customer support of tech sales. And then from there, I landed a job randomly social media marketing. And that to me was where everything clicked of like, oh, tech and social media are the same thing, basically with editing, filming, all of those things. So then I did that for a few years. And then my husband's job relocated us to Tucson. And then I decided that I wanted to really invest my time in teaching yoga. And I had to get really creative about creating a career teaching yoga, which is a very physical and demanding job. And that's kind of how just like everything transpired. It really kind of fell into place during COVID, which is really weird. Um, because like I had to leave my job because I was managing a yoga studio and they were not doing the COVID protocols at
Mm,
all.
yeah.
So I was like, I'm out. I taught online for a year. I started posting on social media. I got hired to start writing for Yoga Journal because randomly a Yoga Journal editor started taking my yoga class
Oh my gosh.
online.
Cool.
And and then really like everything just kind of fell into place with the studio ownership. I took time off from posting on my personal social media
Yeah.
until the studio got established, and then I
Yeah.
got sick, and then next year or last year, I started posting again on social media, and really within a year, like, I've just made so many connections, and yeah, it's been great.
That's so cool. That's amazing. Tell me a little bit about being chronically ill and managing, teaching, going to class through a pandemic.
It was awesome. So
Great, I'm sure.
I worked at a franchise and, it had been toxic for a while, like, I knew that I wasn't the right fit. The management wasn't comfortable having conversations about racism in yoga, about accessibility. Every time I brought it up, it was just like friction, friction, friction. So, like, I knew that I needed to leave, but then COVID hit, and I was obviously uncomfortable going into the studio and teaching, and my last meeting that I had with the studio owner, my peer, the other manager, kind of like pulled me aside. It was just like, she just told me that the yoga studio owner was over my health issues, that, you know, they didn't think that I was a good manager. And she kind of just like kept pushing and pushing, pushing of like, basically like, why are you here? Why do you even work here? You clearly aren't happy. So then like I left that interaction. I was obviously really triggered, really pissed. I went into a meeting with the yoga studio owner. Same thing. She was just like, I think that you are ungrateful. You're a horrible manager. Mind you, her mask was under her nose. They weren't
Yeah,
socially distancing. They
yeah.
weren't doing anything. So I'm sitting there like, why do I work here? Like, this is insane. This is the antithesis of yoga. So obviously I quit. I was like, this is stupid. Then I did find out a few months later that COVID shockingly went through the entire studio and everyone got sick. So I was like, no wonder that I was uncomfortable
Yeah.
being in this. So because I am high risk, I stopped teaching for a year and I just went online because the yoga studios here in town, they weren't socially distancing and they weren't masking. And now I am not one to be like, you have to do anything. I guess, but, like, I was like, "I'm not going to put myself in those situations," and
Yeah.
that's why I started teaching at, the studio that I now own because they could open the door and they did socially distance, and I was like, "Okay,
That's awesome.
awesome."
Yeah.
But yeah, teaching yoga having a chronic illness, being a yoga teacher during COVID was extremely disappointing. Seeing how many yoga studios just completely disregarded every health advice was frustrating, even though I understand and acknowledge that some studios, if they hadn't done what they did, they would have gone out of business. I guess I'm neutral towards it, like it is what it is. But it was really disappointing teaching at a place that didn't support me and was disappointed that I wasn't willing to put my health on the line for a paycheck.
Yeah. 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 That's also hard. I'm glad that you left. And I just hate that it took a global pandemic to kind of like expose some of these things that in some ways I get resentful that it opened my eyes to I just assume people are doing yoga and they're good people and they're smart people and they have the same values as me. And it was a bummer that it opened my eyes to the fact that that is not true. But I'm also so glad that I know that now. And I kind of think of it as like, wow, what a massive. Sometimes I feel super cliche for talking so much about yoga off the mat, but it's like, no, this is just so much bigger than just the poses, and it's literally how we treat ourselves and how we treat others, and if you don't have your health, you don't have anything,
Exactly. Yeah.
and how can we, like, be kind to people who are making these choices based on what they need? That's so important, and why is it so
Yeah.
hard?
The yoga world has, as somebody, I am disabled. I am able-bodied passing, but I am disabled. So I have always blocked the inaccessibility in the yoga world right off the bat. Seeing the veil lifted during COVID, it was so satisfying to me to be like,
Mm,
oh, we now have more allies that we can see because the people in bigger bodies, they have constantly been like, we are not included in yoga classes. People of color, same thing. They're like, when I go into a yoga studio, I am typically the only person, and this practice is from India. Like, this is so wrong. And then, like COVID came around, and so many yoga teachers were like, I don't care. COVID doesn't affect me. I'm not going to wear a mask. I'm not going to social distance. I want to keep my revenue up. And I was like,
mhm.
cool, you're looking some way here.
Yeah,
That's not looking too good.
yeah.
Mm.
Lucky you.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, good for you.
But also, like, I got a lot of business opportunities because I've constantly been talking about ableism in yoga. Sometimes I have to take a break from it on social media because I can't fight with people over the dumbest shit. Like
Yeah.
yesterday, I posted about people trying to police water in class, and like all like the traditionalists are like, well, actually, you shouldn't be drinking water, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't care. I don't care. You're wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. I just get so annoyed when people are like, "Well, the cavemen did this way." And I'm like, "Okay, but the cavemen also died when they were 20." Like, like
Or also, like, if we're gonna, like, get into it, like, when people are like, "Well, in the sutras," and I was like, "The sutras are ableist." Like, they were written by a collective of healthy men in seats of power, and the whole frickin' like sutras by like Patanjali is all about if you have any diseases, you're never going to reach enlightenment. So every time I'm in a yoga teacher training and we are talking about the diseased mind, I'm sitting there like, I hate it. I hate it. Like, but like we have to talk about it. We have to teach it. But like, if we can't have the conversation that like the sutras, like one of the highest texts was exclusionary, oh, I think we're missing a piece of the puzzle here.
Yeah. Yeah. My teacher, Doug Keller, who I feel like you would love Doug Keller, he is phenomenal. He took Tom Meyer's anatomy trains stuff and like translated it for yoga. It's very cool. But he talks about, so Doug Keller talks about the Yoga Sutra as yoga for hermits. And his whole point is, yeah, it's really easy to do ahimsa when you go sit in a cave by yourself. And like, what a privilege to be able to go sit and not harm anything because you're sitting in a cave by yourself. And I just love that concept of like, yeah, it is really easy to do the Yoga Sutras when you're a recluse from society. Sure, but that's not
Exactly.
real life.
Yeah, it's like you have to be like a renunciate and of
Yes.
full health, and then
Yeah.
you can practice yoga. And I'm like, we're that's not how the world works anymore. We have bills to pay. We have literally wars and famines and genocides happening, and we need to modernize the practice to help modern bodies. Yeah, that's a conversation I don't think people are ready to have all the time.
Yeah. I think about it a lot. I think a lot about, especially, leading yoga trainings and stuff. I think a lot about like, yes, there is so much that is so powerful in yoga. And also, I'm not just going to tell someone that they should go renounce everything. Like, there's so much privilege to be able to leave society and study at an ashram like was happening back in the day. I also think about the more I learn about Swami Vivekananda and how much he like when he brought yoga to the West, he automatically self-edited some of the things and was like, "Well, the Westerners aren't ready for this stuff." And I think he's right. And also a lot of the like Ashtanga influences, for example, came from like calisthenics and from the colonizers coming in and like making it more physical. It's also intertwined, and I think let's not put ancient yoga on a pedestal and say that it was perfect or is perfect. And how can we make it work for now? Because again, back to the caveman. I mean, obviously in ancient yoga times when it was like 1,000 or 1,500 years ago, people weren't living until 90, but they were living a little longer. But also like they didn't have all of the technology that we have and all of the, again, knowledge of all the wars and famine. It's just
Yeah.
it's different now. And how can we take what's really helpful from this practice and put it in a modern lens and make it work for right now? That's hard. That's hard work.
Exactly. Like those guys, if they had cystic fibrosis, they'd be dead.
We'd be dead. Yeah.
They'd be dead. So
Yeah.
there is that.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like how to meet people where they're at is my
Yeah.
big take on that.
Yeah.
And texts
But
written by healthy men are
yeah.
not my favorite all the
No.
time.
Same. Yeah. There's great lessons in them. And also,
Yeah. And also, period.
okay, AI in yoga. Have you come across like I cannot believe that people are using AI to write their class. Like, what?
Now that you brought up AI and yoga, we talk about the whole we talk about the whole Kendra situation.
Oh my god. Okay. Wait. How are we an hour into this and I have not yet okay. For the listeners, oh my god. The Kendra situation. Can you give us like a quick holy crap, a quick rundown for people who
Holy
don't know?
holy crap is right. Okay. Yeah, so I was
Forgot
Kendra's
about that. Oh
I'll
my god.
never ever get over it. It was so horrible. I still feel horrible that I have not talked to Kendra since everything went down. I don't think I'll ever talk to her again.
Yeah.
But
Us-
for a background for, the viewers, I was Kendra, the girl who fell in love with her therapist, boss, and studio owner. And that was horrible. I have never heard of AI being used as a therapist before.
So was it
And
AI?
watching
Is
it
that
was AI. It was AI. So I had known that she was using Chat GPT for a while, but, like, I thought it was just, like, like, help writing, like, marketing emails or, like, editing. She had told me about it, but I was like, "That's silly," and then I think she called it Henry or something, and I was like, "That's strange, like, that you called your AI a name, but whatever." But, like, Kendra is, like, very eccentric. She's, like, such a good person and, like, so fun to be around, and her laugh, like, will truly, like, light up the entire room and make everybody else laugh. So, like, she told me these things, and I was like, "Oh, no big deal."
oh,
And
yeah.
then when things started kind of transpiring on the internet, and I saw her first video of her saying, like, her therapist took advantage of her, immediately believed her because, of course, like, I'm going to believe a woman, and I was like, "Oh my god, what? Like, I can't believe this," and then the videos started coming out even more, and then I was like, "This seems weird," and I remember, like, I texted my business partner of like, "Hey, like, this is going on the internet, and Kendra's getting some heat. Like, I've never seen anyone go this viral, like, in my personal circle before. Like, I'm concerned about her mental health. I don't think that she should teach on Tuesday."
Yeah.
So she came into the studio. She actually saw my business partner like that morning. My business partner helped her with admin stuff. And Jackie said that she was fine. And she was like, she seemed fine. She's like, we talked about, what was going on. And, she seemed sound and grounded. So of course, like I just let her talk class. I was like, okay. Then later in the afternoon, I saw the post of her telling her class or starting her class with telling everybody that she was going through psychological warfare on the internet because she told people her story about her therapist. Immediately, I was like, "You started your class telling people that you were going through psychological warfare? What was that? Like, that's not good." So I sent her a text message and I was like, "We need to talk. Like, like, can we schedule a meeting?" She left me on red. She went on to a live video with like, I think like 100,000 people and showed people our text message and said that she was ignoring me. So then after the video ended, she sent me a text message saying that I'm available tomorrow. So tomorrow comes around, my business partner and I are texting her like, "Hey, like, can we please schedule a meeting?" And that's when things turned sideways and she was really rude. I had never had Kendra be rude to me at all, but the texts were basically her saying like, "I understand that you think that this is important, but I will get to you when I'm ready." And I was like, "Whoa, that's not how you talk to your boss."
No.
And people had found my social media. My entire social media is helping yoga teachers like build a successful business. So people clocked me so fast that this was happening at my studio and blowing me up. And I was like, "Kendra, we got to talk about this." Like, and then she was like, basically, like, "If you wanna remove me from the schedule, go for it, and what are we gonna do?" Like, be like, "No, please stay, like, we want you to stay." No, we're like, "Okay, bye," like, "Oh, fine," and that's when she went on live again, read I think it was, like, 200,000 people at this point, our text message conversation, and then asked ChatGPT, what chat thought of our actions. We watched it in real time see ChatGPT tell Kendra that she was fired even though she quit and that we were cowards and we just chose our comfort over her and that we were horrible people. And immediately her reality turned into we fired her, that we got rid of her, that we didn't care about her. When the reality was, you said if you want to remove me from the schedule, remove me. And so if someone's being mean to me, like blatantly mean to me and rude and condescending, and they're like, You can remove me from the schedule," I'm going to remove you from the schedule because my mental health is important.
Uh-huh.
And if you're starting your classes trauma dumping on your students, you shouldn't be teaching yoga in that current headspace. And then that's when I went so viral because I had to make a video, saying like, you don't align with what happened in class. This is, not a me thing. That video hit like 1.7 million views within half a day. I started getting horrible messages saying that I am a horrible person. I threw her to the wolves, that they would never come to my studio. It was horrible. I had people coming after me for a month and a half to the point that I got physically ill because people were just telling me over and over how horrible of a human I am because we didn't keep her on the team. What a time.
Damn.
Yeah. I've never seen anything like it. I've never experienced anything like it.
It it's wild, and I mean, like, the first logistical question I have is, like, yes, I know I can see how that I'm with you, like, I think you handled the situation as best as you possibly could, like, and I'm sure you had other people telling you that, and, like, it's really easy for me to sit here and be like, "You did the right thing." And also, part of me, my first response is like when people are like, "Oh, I'm never going to come to your studio." My first response is, "Well, yeah, you probably don't live in Tucson. I'm going to guess. So like, I don't want you to come here." Number 1. And also number 2, you had never even thought about yoga studios until you saw this thing on the internet. So like, leave me alone. Um,
Yeah.
did
It's
it
just like there was like that part of me that was like, these people aren't even the people who are gonna come to the studio. But
Yeah.
also I'm such a people pleaser that having people tell me every single day that I was a horrible person, that I was a bitch, that I threw her to the wolves really ate me up inside because like I wanted to be there for Kendra, but I am not somebody who allows people to make me feel lesser than. I
Mhm.
have been through hell and back in my life, and I am comfortable standing in my power saying, "No, if you're gonna disagree or disrespect me, turn around and there's the door." That's
Yeah.
really end all be all. So it didn't hurt our business at all. In fact, like it actually was helpful to our business. But like even that feels so gross to like know that somebody's hardest time potentially in their life helped our business. I never
Yeah.
wanted that. I just
No.
wanted people to stop being mean to me for something that I didn't do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and also, like, you also have to look out I see it I think I see it from your more from your lens too because of being an owner, like, I know that I'm taking myself off the schedule for mental health reasons, and, like, that is a thing that I take really seriously, and I'm not gonna
Same.
have someone teaching at my studio. I'm gonna look out 'cause it feels weird it doesn't feel like it in the moment, it feels like me saying, like, "I'm doing this for your mental health," feels like I'm, like, big brothering you a little bit, but it's like, no, truly, like, you should not be processing that in front of our clients, number 1. I don't I don't like that for you. Number 2, I don't like that for our clients either.
No.
It's not helpful both ways.
No,
Um
like, we will waive our policy. I'm trying to, like, think of the name. Our cancellation policy for teachers or, like, sub policy for teachers. If you are struggling with anything health-wise, mental health-wise, get a sub. It is not worth burning yourself out teaching yoga. Like, it's just not, and your students need someone to be able to hold space for them, and if you are unable to hold space for them, get a sub. It is not hard. Like
And I also as a studio owner, we've had this come up recently, like, if if someone is sick or have is sick in any way, mental health, physical health, whatever, I would rather cancel the class than you come try to be here. Like,
yeah,
I I don't I wanna exhaust every option before we cancel the class, but, like, the other day, we had a class that I needed to sub, and it was a point where I was like, "I physically can't teach this class and nobody else can do it, I'm gonna cancel the class." Is it my favorite thing to do? No, but, like, I would rather do that than
I've had that conversation with my business partner too. There was a class and our teacher called out last minute and my business partner was like, "I guess I'll go sub." And I made the call for her. I was like, "Girlfriend, you're at your capacity. I can see that you're over capacity. We're canceling the class." I was like, "This isn't something that we do all the time." I was
yeah.
like, "I know that you're kind of like you're like my big sister a lot of the time. I'm pulling the big sister card
Yeah.
here. The answer
Yeah.
is no. Like, I
Yeah.
need you to stay home and be with your family and rest tonight." And she was like, "Oh." I'm like, "Yeah." Like,
Yeah.
we're not I don't know, we're not like, surgeons. We're not saving lives out here.
Yoga.
If we
Yeah.
hold the space, cancel the class.
Yeah. Yeah. I think one of the things for me, I really like yes, this is such a life-changing practice and it's so important, and also it's just fucking yoga. Like
It's just fucking yoga, man. Like, I don't know. Like, I see teachers and they're like crashing out and they're like, ah, and I'm like, "Yeah, we really don't make that much money. Like, even the yoga studios, we really don't make that much money. If this isn't helping you ease your suffering, which is like a key tenet in the yoga practice, why are you doing it? You shouldn't be doing it." And that's how I try to lead my team to teach them that. Like, there is a balance between being professional, showing up. And at the end of the day, if this practice is increasing your suffering, step away. Which is like back to the Kendra thing, which like I now know that I should have made the call and been like, I can see that she is not okay with what I'm seeing on the internet, and, like, nobody is going to be okay if literally millions of people are calling you out for your behavior and saying pretty heinous things. I
Yeah.
should have made the call, but I was trying to be a people person or people pleaser and be like, "Oh, she thinks she's okay to hold the
Yeah.
space, she can do it." No, fuck that. Nowadays, I'll call it. I'll be like, I learned my lesson. As a leader, I am really good at seeing people's strengths and
Mhm.
also seeing people when they need to take a moment's rest.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, no, I'm not doing that again. Take a day
Yeah.
off. I'll teach your
Yeah.
class. Get it out.
Yeah. Get out. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it's hard. It's easy to look back now. I fully believe that experience is what you get 20 seconds after you needed it. And so like, yeah, you have that info now.
Well,
And
also, like, what business owner knows how to, like, navigate, like, a viral, like, I don't know. I
I
feel like
know,
there should be, like, a
I know.
support system of business owners who have gone viral for the actions of their team. Like,
Yeah.
I would be like, "Let's talk about it."
Yeah. 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 I think people think like going viral is like the biggest deal and so great. And it's like, no, it's actually not.
It's horrible. I never wanna go viral again, ever.
Yeah. Yeah. I will
Like, I've
say I
had
have,
some, like, silly videos over, like, yoga mats that, like, have gone viral and hit, like, 500,000. That's fun.
yeah.
Real viral? Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
No
I don't
thanks.
wanna be perceived by millions of people ever again. Mm-mm.
Yeah. No, thank you. No, thank you. Yeah, I have the marketing person that I work with, her name's Alexa. She from the very beginning, she tells all of her clients, "Be ready for when you go viral." And I really appreciate it because she's like, "You just never know what's gonna happen, and you need to just assume that it's gonna happen and be ready." But it's also a little it's like, how are you gonna
Buckle up.
yeah,
Yeah,
buckle
especially
up.
on TikTok. I feel like TikTok is the Wild West. Like, when that thing's flying, it's
Yeah.
done. You're like, "Uh-oh." Yeah. Yeah, but that was the story of Kendra, the girl who fell in love with her therapist.
Wow, what a time. What a time. I could talk to you forever, honestly. I know that you have another thing to get to. Um, I'm trying to think about which of my really fast questions, which I don't think are gonna be fast questions, but I'm gonna ask you some mean questions because I like to ask them. Number 1, if you had to pick only one yoga prop to use ever, other than a yoga mat, you're allowed to have a yoga mat, one prop, what would it be?
Block.
One block?
Yeah.
Or
I could do
I'll let you have
yeah,
multiple. I'll let you just, like, one type. I'll let you have multiple if you need
2
it.
blocks. I want 2
Okay,
blocks.
okay, okay,
Give me those.
okay. Um, do you have an emotional support beverage of choice during when you're teaching? What is it?
This, this. It has to be in a BrewMate, by the way. Shout out to BrewMate because you can lock it. Electrolytes of any kind. I'm chronically dehydrated. Pure electrolytes are my new favorite, by the way. They're so good.
Okay. Okay, cool, cool. I might have to have you send me the info on that so that I can share that.
They're not too salty. They're very good.
Okay, cool, cool. What is your favorite kind of outfit to wear to practice or to teach? Either one.
I like dressing like a boy. So I basically just wear joggers all the time. Sometimes like a guy will come to my class. I'm like, gosh dang it, I'm dressed like a boy. So yeah, Viore joggers are my absolute favorite. I don't like yoga leggings because like I just feel like they're compressive and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I do want to like try like I've seen like a lot of like the cute like cotton stuff that a lot of the girlies are wearing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe I could try that. But yeah,
Yeah.
Viore joggers.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. And is there one piece of advice you have for teachers? This is maybe not a fast question, but I'm going to try to make you do it fast. Is there one piece of advice you have for teachers to make their classes more welcoming for disabled students, for differently abled students?
Are you serious?
As I was
I
saying
would
it, I was like, this is so mean.
um look for your cues. Do not cue based on aesthetics. You need to look at the angles of your students' joints. Anything that is over 90 or 90 and over is getting to the point that it is more typical for that to be inaccessible for the massive population of the majority of the population. So by decreasing the load in the big joints like the hips, the knees, and the shoulders, you're going to make your classes more accessible. Also, the main things to look for the most, the jaw, the breath. If you can see the breath that's just hanging up right here, that means they're not able to take a full deep breath. And by encouraging people to ease out of the poses, that is going to be able to help them to soften in those areas.
Cool. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was really helpful. Where can people find you? Do you want them to find you on the internet? I mean, they maybe already have found you from Kendra. Tell us
They have
where we
already
can
found
find
me.
you. Yeah, and if you're a yoga teacher, I know you have something that you're launching or have launched for yoga teachers. Tell us where we can find you.
Yeah, so my social media is just my name, Ashley period McDougall on both Instagram and TikTok. I also have a digital planner for yoga teachers that I'm relaunching in April that I'm really excited about. So it's going to help yoga teachers create a business that helps them write their events, workshops, market it. And also, it is going to include a social media digital planner as well to help you find your niche and to help you find what you're really good at. And I'm also doing a virtual mentorship for yoga teachers for like a little bit who need a little bit more hand holding that starts in May.
So cool. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for being here. It's been so fun to chat with you and get to know you. And
Let's do it again.
yeah, let's do it again. And that's all we've got today. Thank you so much, Ashley, for being on the podcast. If you liked this podcast, please share it with a friend. You can rate and review on Apple Podcasts. You can listen on Spotify and add a rating there. Share it on your story on Instagram. Send it to a friend. And I'll see you again next time for another episode.